Hello again painters, it's Debbie from acrylicpouring.com, back for another painting experiment. So the last painting I did was my elegant kind of coffee coloured painting that I really liked, and I tried something completely new and I got great sales without using any silicone and without using any torching. So I thought, why has that happened? Is it because I changed everything? I changed the brand of the paint, I had changed the pouring medium, and I had changed what I added to the paint. So we need to experiment a little bit more. So this time I'm going to use this Sargent Acrylic Gloss. This is what I used as the pouring medium last time, so I'm going to use that one again. I also used alcohol instead of silicone, so I'm going to use that again, but I'm going to use different paints. Last time I used the apple barrel. This time I'm using Artist Loft, and I've got a turquoise, a brilliant magenta and a metallic purple. And what I would say, when I was mixing them up, these two were pretty thick, and then I poured this one out and this one was way thinner than the other ones. So I don't know if that's just because it's metallic or whether it's purple or what the difference is, but for the same amount of paint out of the tube, these two made more paint, this one made less paint. And what I did was I mixed the tube paint with around, I would say, 25 to 30% of this pouring medium, and then I watered it down with as much alcohol as was necessary to reach the right consistency. For the purple one, it didn't need very much. The other two needed a little more. I'm also using the same gold that I used before. This is Art Alternatives Economy Gold, and so that one is going to be exactly the same. I've got everything mixed up, and I do just want to say that if you're going to use this as a pouring medium, it's helpful to just test your paints on a sheet of paper first. So these are the paints just here. So it's my testing sheet. These are the paints in their straight out of the tube kind of colours and consistency, but when you add the this pouring medium, it does lighten the colour a little bit. So I don't know if you'll be able to see, but in the tube it's reasonably dark, and then when you add the pouring medium, it does make it a little whiter, a little more pink in this case, because this is quite white. It's not as clear as some of the others. It does affect the colour. So what we see on the canvas, I'm expecting to be quite light, and then later on I'm expecting, once it's dry, for it to be dark. But it will be interesting to see today whether it was the different paints or whether it was the other different additives that made the great result in that coffee coloured pour. So let's put all this off to one side, and I'm going to do a flip cup. Have I got a cup? Yeah, there we go. It's a reasonably clean one, because I did flip cup before, that worked well. So let's do exactly the same this time. So here's all my colours. I've got a slightly larger canvas, so I've mixed slightly more colour, although the purple, as you can see, if you look here, the purple made a whole lot less paint than the pink and the blue, just because it came out of the tube that much thicker that it really hardly needed anything adding to it. So let's layer these all up. I'm just going to do 2 layers of each. I'm going to go kind of half and half. What would look nice next to that one? Maybe the pink. Whoop! I nearly missed the cup there. I'm kind of excited to try this again, but I'm also a bit nervous, because I'm thinking, well, maybe it was the paints, maybe it wasn't anything to do with the other changes that I made. And there are so many variables. You find that with your painting, there's just so many variables. You really never know unless you use the exact same paints, the exact same pouring mediums and formulas every time. You really never know what you're going to get. I like a lot of metallics. Let's go with lots of gold. What did I put next? The pink. There we go. And then let's go with the purple. I'm going to scrape all of that in there, because I didn't have very much purple, so I'm going to make sure I use the whole thing. And I'll have a bit more paint this time too. I was a little bit tight on the paint in the last one, so I've made sure I've got a bit more, because this canvas is a bit bigger too. And then the last scrape of that turquoise, and I've got a little bit left in my cups over there if I need them. Okay, so the colour combo looks really nice in the cup. Let's zoom you in a little bit, and then we'll do our flip and see what happens. 1, 2, 3. Okay, and we are good. So I'm just going to leave that to settle a little bit, let all of the colours, oh I can see them coming down the side of the cup, it does look nice. So I'm going to leave those to set for a little bit and then I'll be back. Okay, are you ready? Let's go for it and see what happens. Fingers crossed. Oh. Wow, that's weird. These paints have come out really thick. And like really thick. They went in there okay, but I can tell as soon as it came up, the cup feels kind of heavy. There's loads of paint still stuck in the cup, and this just isn't moving. Anyway, we will see what we can make from it. So let me add a bit more into the corners because I've got a lot of stuff left in the cup for sure. Now these paints were thicker today than the Apple Barrel Craft ones that I'd used, so I needed to add more alcohol to them in order to thin them. And I know that the alcohol kind of evaporates off reasonably quickly, so I wonder whether I just hadn't thinned them quite enough, or whether the alcohol has kind of evaporated and made it a bit thicker. But we will see. The colours look nice though. I do like the colours. There's a lot of sparkle in that purple, although my gold is kind of missing. So, actually I'm going to zoom you out a little bit and you can get a slightly better view. And we'll see. See, I was sure I had enough paint, but it's so thick. Yeah, look, you can see how the paint is breaking up. Can you see how the paint's breaking up as I'm tipping it? Very strange. Completely different to the last results that I had. So already I'm pretty much saying the last results I had were not down to the pour medium and the alcohol. They were more than likely down to the brand of paint that I was using, because this result is completely different today. I know, it might just be that they're thicker, so I do need to give it some more experimentation and see if, you know, I would get something similar if I thinned these paints a lot more. Very interesting how they thickened up. And certainly, yeah, no cells, which again is completely different because it exploded with stuff out of the cup last time, whereas this time none at all. So that is interesting. Nonetheless, it does have a really interesting effect, really interesting. And I'm liking it a lot, even though it's not what I was expecting or what I was aiming for. But still, it's very interesting. Okay. Nearly done. Yeah, the paint's gone a lot thicker, which is funny because I definitely mixed it up to a similar consistency originally. But now it's already wanted to barely flow across here. So more experimentation is definitely needed. Just got this one last corner, everything else looks good. Okay, just tidy it around my edges. Oh, I've got it all up my arm. I'm such a messy painter. Just dragged the canvas right across my arm there. I'm going to go and wash up a minute and then I'll be back. So let's have a look at this painting. It's really unusual. I've not had any effects like this before. We have a look down in this corner. You see these purple patches? It's almost like those are tiny, tiny little flakes of, you know, like gold leaf, where you get gold leaf to stick on something. It's almost like they're tiny sheets of purple, but you know, like the gold leaf, so they're kind of metallic and they're sat on top of the other paint. See where it broke up as I was moving it along, and it's moved into these kind of pieces and sat on the top. So that's really interesting. It's very, very glittery. Not seen anything like that before. Got lots of nice areas where the metallic gold and things come through. This corner is really nice. There's lots of sparkle just there. And then as we move up here, you see again there's another area where the purple is where it's kind of broken apart into these little metallic looking sheets, really interesting. And then the same with the pink, you see the pink is all broken up and is sitting on top of the blue in tiny pieces. And then over here, the blue is broken up and is sitting on top of the pink in tiny pieces. And then I've got another area up here where the corner was, which has got a lot more of the gold. And then here the gold too. So I have never seen anything like this before. So I definitely think we can say that the effect that I got with the last one is definitely nothing like the effect that I've got here. So these, this was the Artist Loft acrylics in the tubes, and this has given a completely different effect. It's beautiful, absolutely beautiful, and you know, unique. I've never seen or had anything like it before, but it was definitely not similar in any way to the effect that I had before. Nonetheless, it's beautiful, very, very unusual. I'm definitely going to keep this. I'm going to dry it up and see what it looks like, and if you can hang around a little bit longer, assuming everything goes well, I'm going to dry this and varnish it and show you what it looks like when it's finished. Very interesting. So here it is, dried, finished, varnished, and I have to say, even though this was not what I was looking for in this experiment, it's one of the most spectacular paintings I've ever made, and I just love it more than probably anything else. The metallics in it, unfortunately, let me see, if I turn the light off, will that make a difference? Might make it too dark, I don't know, but the metallics in it, this section here, and the purple, where everything broke up with the alcohol, the effects in this painting are absolutely staggering. It really is really beautiful. It looks so 3D. It's got turn it round. No, I don't think you'll be able to see, but the section here with the blue, it's really very much like the copper kind of tones here. They're just kind of floating above the blue, and this area here, well, it's all just absolutely fabulous. One of my most favourite paintings ever. So not what we were hoping for, what we were looking for today, but sometimes this kind of style of painting can really surprise you. So thank you very much for watching. Hope to see you subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done, and following along for the rest of the experiments in this series. And please drop over to acrylicboric.com very soon.